Hi, this is Jill from Humu Yoga, and this is the full yoga class. This week, we're working with the theme of thrive. And I like this theme because it reminds me to always evolve and prosper. And then I can go ahead and share that in everything I do. So we're going to go ahead and get started with a gentle centering. And I'll take us through some inspirational quotes of thrive. And then I'll weave them into this practice. And if this is something you really like, please subscribe. I do a different theme every week. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So just focus on how you're sitting for a moment. You can reach the fingertips down to the floor and close the eyes and just visualize the muscles you're sitting on and engage them. The pelvic floor, we call that Mula Bandha. It means root lock. And then above that, below the belly button, feel a pulling in, and it gives you a sense of flying upward. And that's Uddiyana Bandha, and that's what it means, flying upward. And then at the top of the spine, gently draw the chin down. We call that Jalandhara Bandha, or chin lock, and it seals in the energy of the bandhas. And with the bandhas, or internal locks, engaged, you can release the hands because you're fully supported, and just focus on the breath. As you inhale, visualize the rib cage expanding. And then as you exhale, visualize the rib cage relaxing. Inhale, breathe into the whole rib cage. And then exhale, feel the rib cage relax. We'll do one more like that. Inhale, visualizing the rib cage. And exhale, take the hands together in prayer position. We'll vibrate with the mantra Om, and then I'll go through the quotes on thrive. Inhale. Nature does not hurry, yet everything thrives in its time. When we create space in the body, we create space in the mind, and in that space, we thrive. The goal of life is not merely to exist, but to thrive with passion, compassion, and joy. Don't just survive, thrive. Rise into your strength, embrace your breath, and move with purpose. Thrive. Let's go ahead and get the most out of this practice for our bodies so that we can feel better in our lives as well. So we'll go ahead and start by coming onto all fours and warming up the spine a little. So exhale, rounding the spine. So we're pulling the belly in, and then we're opening up the back. And then inhale, come forward and start to arch the back. And now we're working the back muscles and opening the front. One more time, exhale, round. Really feel a sense of lift here. Shoulders are away from the ears. Inhale, come forward. The shoulders are still away from your ears, but you're leading with the sternum here. We'll come one more time, rounding the spine, pull the belly way in and up. And then inhale and coming forward and arching. And then come to neutral. Slowly start to hover the knees and feel everything activated here. And then take it back to down dog. You can, of course, adjust. I like to bend the knees and really try to get my chest closer to my legs. I'm pulling the belly in the whole time. Then I'm starting to reach the heels down, bend and straighten. Just do the best you can. It's okay if your heels don't reach the floor. No worries there. Reach and do a couple more. And find a place where you're feeling the most you can in this stretch. And you feel openings happening. It's not too much. It's just right. And then we'll make our way up. So I like to get the most out of this. Rise up and come forward. You can have your feet about hip width and just drop the head. You could even just hang here for a moment and release your neck. And then when you're ready, releasing the hands, you can soften your knees if you'd like. Curl up the spine, so visualize your spine
and that you're curling up one vertebra at a time and you're pulling the belly in to support that. And when you get all the way up the top, the shoulders roll away from your ears and your head arrives. Pause for a moment, and then we'll step everything together for Samasatihi, standing still and straight and ready to begin the sun salutations. Before we start, I always practice with a couple of blocks and a little towel. You could use a yoga belt, or you don't have to use anything. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, reach up, really reach. Exhale, fold. Feel your belly lift to support that. Taking the hands down, relax the head. Inhale, lengthen. And then let's go ahead and take this back. Hold the plank. I like to get the most out of this push-up, so I come down to my knees because then I can really hold the plank nicely, and I'm not arched and I'm not sinking. So find that, and only go down to the degree that you can maintain that, right? And you feel like you can really get the most out of it, and then push back up. For some people, you might go down a little closer to the floor. Some people might not need to go to the knees. Inhale, lift the sternum, get the tail under, get the most out of this up dog, upward facing dog, and then exhale, take it back, downward facing dog, and breathe. Inhale, really pulling the belly in. Exhale, reaching. I like to get the most out of the sun salutations because they set me up for the rest of the practice. Inhale and exhale. And we'll take one more breath. And exhale. And let's make our way up. I'm pushing down with my hands, lifting my belly, trying to make this as light as I can. And fold. And then inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hands down. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach. Gaze up to the hands. Exhale, fold. Feel the lift of your belly. Inhale here, lengthen. Let's take it back. Plank. You could come down to the knees if you needed a little more support as we lower. And then rise and come through. Inhale. Really lift the sternum, get the tail under, lift the sternum. I'm gazing down my nose and up, and then downward facing dog. Exhale here, and breathe. Inhale. Just notice where you are today in your body, in this moment. Inhale. And can you get the most out of this practice today? Exhale. And a couple more breaths. Inhale. And exhale. One more. And exhale. And then let's slowly make our way up. Press down, lift up. Just do the best you can. And exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Reaching. And exhale, hands down. Surya Namaskar B. I'm going to use the blocks here. Totally optional. They just give me a little bit more height, so I like that. Reach the arms up, inhale, and exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen, and try to keep your shoulders as best you can over your hands. You could lightly hop back if you wanted to, or step back. And then we're gonna do the same thing, lower, and rise, come through. Big breath in here, tail under, lifting up and back. And exhale, downward facing dog. For this first one, I'm gonna lift the leg. And I like this because it really helps me to get a little momentum to step that right foot forward. I pull it up into my chest and down. And then we rise up. Let's rise up into a high lunge. And we're gonna prepare for warrior one by coming into this lunge first. Take the tail under on that left side so you get a nice stretch on the hip flexors in the back leg, and you're activating under the butt there. And then try to stay low and straighten. We'll do that again. Tuck under and try to keep that stretch going. You wanna keep that butt under. One more. And this time let's add a back bend. Lift up to go back. Keep those strong hips. Lift up to go back. Lift up to go back. Keep breathing, keep breathing.
And then inhale, start to reach forward. Feel that right butt pull back, everything's activated. And step back. And let's lower. Exhale as you go down, rising up. In this upward facing dog, find a place where you inhale. And exhale, downward facing dog. So many wonderful things going on. Lift the left leg, really reach. Now use that momentum. You can lift the knee up, almost kiss your knee. Step up and rise. And then from here, bend the back knee and tuck that right butt under. Feel the hip flexors stretch in the front and the butt work in the back. And then try to straighten. And then do that again, but stay low. And then on this next one, we're gonna hold. So keep this activated as you lift up to go back. Strong legs, up to go back. Find the back bend, breathing. And then inhale, reach forward, keep pulling the left butt back. Take your hands down, step back, and let's lower down. And then rise up, and coming through, tail under, lift the sternum, and take it back, downward facing dog. And breathe, inhale, keeping the lift of your belly, exhale. Keep breathing, inhale. It's a good idea to never stop breathing. Inhale. And exhale, but sometimes we do hold our breath and we don't realize it. And then find a target if you want to lightly hop up or step up and lift up and put your feet there. And fold. Bend the knees, reach the arms. And exhale, come to stand. One more Surya Namaskar, B. Bend the knees, reach the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. And let's go back, lift, and let's lower. And rise, and come through, leading with the sternum, gazing down the nose, activating the legs, and exhale, downward facing dog. This time we're gonna step forward and turn the back foot for warrior one. So as you rise up, notice this hip will turn out a little, but that's okay. Just turn your ribs to face forward and try to keep that butt under as best you can. Left butt under, right butt back. Find the back bend. Exhale. Get the most out of your warrior one. And start to reach forward. Now lift the back heel. Feel that, how you can get into activate the right butt. And then take your hands down. And let's go ahead and lower. And rise. And come through. Big breath in. Inhale here. And exhale, downward facing dog. Other side. Let's step back, left foot forward. Put the back foot down. Start to rise up. Now turn your right ribs to face forward and take the tail under on that right side. Maybe you feel a stretch on the hip flexors there. Inhale, lift up to go back. Up to go back. Getting the most out of this warrior one. And then inhale, rising up. Lift the back heel. Reach. Feel that left butt. And then take your hands down. Step back. And lower. Try to go forward a little bit. And up. And then come up into upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. And breathe. Inhale. And exhale. Keep breathing. Inhale. Exhale, finding the most you can in every pose. I love that. Inhale, exhale. And then find that target, push down with the hands, lift up with the belly, and come forward. Let's bend the knees, reach the arms, and come to stand. Let's go ahead and take the feet hip width, coming into Uttanasana. So notice your pelvis, get your pubic bone and belly button on the same plane. So you're not sticking your butt out, you're not tucked under, you're just really lifted. And then we'll hinge right at the hip sockets, right in here. So you want to keep your spine engaged, your low spine, and not rounded. So you're really getting the stretch in the hamstrings. And notice, are you feeling that? If you look forward as much as you can, and feel this hip crease deepen as you come forward even more. And then just relax the head. And maybe some of you can pull in a little tighter, but stay where you are, right, where you're benefiting the most, and relax your shoulders as you pull in. Breathing, inhale, exhale. And then inhale, lengthen. Reach the arms, get as long as you can. Make sure your spine's not rounded. Reaching, and exhale, hands down. Let's step together in Samasthiti and set up for some standing poses. So I'm gonna put a block here and a block back here. But I always say this, if you don't have props, no problem. So let's go ahead and step out. And let's come into Warrior Two. So I'm gonna turn the back foot in and the front foot out. So my hips now are open. So let's go ahead and bend into Warrior Two. And I'm trying not to lean forward as I do that. I'm feeling more of a sense of external rotation in that front hip. There's a bit of internal rotation in the back hip, but also there's some counter external rotation too to help me balance. And then this next pose, the hips are the same, but I just straighten the leg. So it's a nice long Trikonasana. Sometimes you can go long, sometimes you can go shorter. Today we're going long. Reach, and I'm gonna take this block and put it right under where my armpit is, or about, and then reach up. Now note, it feels different with the leg straight. Some people might be feeling more of a stretch in the back of the leg, or maybe more in the side. Reach. Let's go ahead and circle this arm and reach it. Now, maybe you feel more side body, right? And then we're gonna bend into Parvariti. So your hand is down on the block, or maybe you're here, or maybe you can move up to here. These are all good places. I'm gonna just keep my hand here. And I'm feeling now, from my pinky finger to my baby toe on the left side, a nice stretch. And then I turn the right ribs. And then from here, I'm gonna go ahead and rise up, and we'll do all of that on the other side. So the hips don't really change in these three poses. So let's go ahead and bend. The right leg is turned in a little bit, left leg turned out from the hips. Reach the arms, try not to lean forward, breathe, inhaling and exhaling. And then I'm gonna go ahead and straighten the front leg, but I'm not changing the hips. Exhale, take the hand down so it's under the armpit, or you could be on your shin somewhere, and turn. And I'm trying to pull that left butt back. I'm feeling nice stretching here along the side, opening the chest. And then from here, I'm gonna get a nice side body stretch as I reach this arm. Reach. And then we're gonna bend into Parvariti. So bend the front knee. You could change your arm if you wanted to. You could be here, but I'm gonna be here. And just feel that nice length from the pinky finger on my right hand to the outer edge of my right foot. Turn the left ribs, and then rise up. And from here, we're gonna do a couple poses where the hips face straight ahead. So turn so that your hips are facing straight in front of you, and we'll come into Parvariti Trikonasana. So the hips don't change, but we're coming into a twist. So we take the hand down, if you're using a block, or you could be here, and then I'm looking down at my foot for a moment to try and keep my spine long, but then I'm turning my left ribs to the right, reaching up, and turning and lengthening, and then inhale and rise up. So it's nice and strong when the hips are facing one direction. Now we're gonna go ahead and come down to the knee of the back leg. So you can reach your arms up and gently start to come down. And then from here, we're gonna come into Parvariti Padottanasana. So inhale here, go ahead and take that left shoulder around. You could even roll it a little forward if that helped. Then I think it really helps to look down to your foot your right foot and press through the back heel. Pull the right butt back and start to turn. Keep those hips strong. Keep pulling your right butt back. You could turn, maybe you could look up, maybe straight ahead, maybe down, but now feel the activation of the glute muscles as you rise up. And we'll do the whole thing on the other side. So everything's facing the same direction. Your hips, your shoulders, you're gonna come across. Exhale. For Parvariti Trikonasana, I like to gaze to my foot for a moment to find that long spine. Keep pulling the left butt back, trying to keep those hips squared as best you can, and then turn the ribs. Exhale, right ribs turn to the left, reaching up, lengthening your spine. And then inhale, rising up. And now we'll come into Parvariti Padottanasana. So reach the arms up. Try to lower down lightly. You could always put your hands down on the floor to get down here too. Try to be a little forward of the kneecap, not directly on it. Inhale here. Exhale, let's come across. And just do the best you can to get your shoulder across, your ribs. You're trying to get the right ribs across. And then find a gaze point down. Tuck your back toes and reach through the back heel. I'm pulling the left butt back. Turning, trying to pull the left butt back. Turn, turn, breathe. And then use that left butt, rise up. And now we'll have the feet facing forward, but be nice and wide for Prasarita Padottanasana. So inhale here. Keep your back engaged as you come forward. So there's no rounding. Hinge at your hips and come forward. And let's do the yogi toe lock, where we take the first two fingers and the thumb around, and then we use that as leverage to pull, right? So let your shoulders roll away from your ears and pull and breathe. Keep breathing. Straight legs, shoulders away from your ears, breathing. And then inhale, look up and lengthen. Hands on your waist and rise. And now we'll turn out for Goddess Pose. So as you come into Goddess Pose, feel like you're going straight down and you're not tucking your butt under and you're not leaning forward. So you're opening, it's like you're opening the knees, and breathe. Find a nice centering. Inhale. You can also thrive and be in a place of peace and joy and light. Breathe, even when things are hard. Inhale and exhale. And then inhale, rise up. We'll take a step up to the front for Samasthiti. And then I'm gonna move the props out of the way. And we'll come into tree pose. And then Uttanasana Padottanasana, but just out to the side. So I'm gonna start so that you could use the wall, right? We'll face this direction. So the right leg comes up and we'll come into tree pose first. So from here, just take a moment. Find a centering. Gaze down the nose, down the hands. Breathe. And then see where you go. Can you grab the toe and lift it up? Maybe you use the wall. And then explore this pose. Thrive with it. Take it somewhere really opening. And maybe you can let go, or maybe you grab the wall. These are all options. And then let's thrive with this pose. Inhale, Vrikshasana, tree pose. Breathing, really lifting. Maybe you're using the wall. Go where it feels good in your body. Inhale, rise up, and slowly bringing it down. Let's go to the other side. So coming into tree pose to start, feel the tail under, the belly in. It's nice and open. Gaze down the fingertips. Nice peaceful pose. And then we'll start to come into Uttanasana Padottanasana out to the side. So you could use the wall, right, and reach. And now take it somewhere really expressive and open. Maybe your arms more out to the side. What feels good in your body? And then inhale, start to come back. You can use the wall. Bring everything in. And then we're gonna make it expressive. Lift up. You could always use the wall, but really explore this. Open the hips. The hips are strong, allowing the upper body to do the back bend. And then inhale, rise up, and everything comes back to center. We'll come up to the front, and we're gonna make our way now down to the floor. So inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold. Feel the fold at the hip sockets. I'm gonna take the blocks down, and we're gonna go back to down dog. And just pause here. We're gonna make our way up to seated. So I like to just practice this. I like to hop up, put the blocks down. I'm trying to keep this as light as I can. Find Lolasana for a moment. Even if you don't get off the floor, maybe you just feel the sense of it. And then just come to Dandasana for a moment. And in Dandasana, see if you can sit up as tall as you can, even if you have to bend the knees. Get the back engaged, and then see if you can straighten your legs. And now we're gonna go ahead and bend the knees. So we're gonna bend the knees and go nice and wide here. We're gonna open up the hips a little bit here. So from here, it's okay if you curl back a little and put your hands behind you. Let's sway the knees, like just drop the left knee and then let the right knee follow. I want you to feel freedom in the hip sockets. They come up, go the other way. And then let's try that again. Left side, right side. Just be gentle. Coming up, right side, left side. And now come up. Now we're gonna find this, we're preparing for pigeon pose. Preparing for pigeon pose. It's a tongue twister. So we're gonna do that by going 90-90 first. And the reason I wanna prepare is because this pose is so different in different bodies. Everybody's hips are a little different, but I want everyone to get the most out of it. So if this is hard for you, you could sit your right butt up on a block, right? If this just wasn't happening. But it's okay to lean a little to the right at first, and then try to sit up and feel this left hip turn in. And see if you can go with that. And then from there, we're gonna start to come forward. So coming forward, and I'm really pressing my butt down, right? And just trying to find that. And now I'm doing a little resisting where I'm pressing my chest down and I'm almost lifting my knee up to get a little resistance. But you don't have to do that. You could just do the best you can here. And you can play around with being a little more towards the knee, a little more towards the shin, or maybe a little bit more towards the foot, which is harder, I think. And then inhale, rise up. Now we're gonna make our way into the pigeon pose. So bring that right foot in a bit, and you wanna make sure your knee stays in alignment with your hip. That's really important. Then we take the back leg back, and we try to lift up, and trying to find this shape. So it's gonna vary in different bodies where the ankle of the shin is. But I like to take a block here, and you could have it high if your body needed that. So just play around with that. I'm gonna put it here, and then I'm turning this back leg and trying to keep that tail under till I find the hips as square as I can. Then I'm coming forward, and I'm just coming forward. And I'm trying to press my chest down and maybe resist a little by pulling the knee up, the chest down, the knee up. That makes it a little more active, but you could just bow in if you're experiencing a lot. So you really want to be feeling this glute stretch, this right side. And it could be intense, but it's kind of a good intense. If not, you're going to need to adjust. And if this is impossible, you could stay in that 90-90 position. And then inhale, let's rise up. And from here, I want you could even move this foot in, but I want you to try and come off the block and lift up. You could use your hands here. So I'm using the external rotators. I'm lifting and taking that tail under, and let's take it somewhere beautiful. Lift up to go back. Very expressive. Thrive. Express. Lift. And then slowly coming down. I'm gonna take the block out and come down, come back to 90-90. I'm gonna put this on back of the mat because I'm going to use it on the other side. And we'll come to the other side. So just see if you can lift the left leg or the left knee. And then the right leg goes down. And then from here, check that you're 90, especially in the front leg, and 90. And then see if you can sit up. You could have a block under that left butt if you need it. Sit up, and you want to feel you're turning the right hips inwards, internal rotation. And then from here, come forward. And you could be over the knee if that felt good, or more to the center, or play around with going towards the foot. And get a sense that you're pressing your chest down and maybe resisting by pulling the knee up, but you're not really lifting it off the floor. It's just an intention. Or just relax here, if you can, and breathe. And then let's slowly rise up. We're going to set up for Pigeon Pose now. So take the back foot and start to move it in. Move or bend the front knee a little bit more. Make sure your left knee stays aligned with your hip. And then we start to rise up. And then from here, I'm going to take the block and I'm going to put it here. You could be on whatever height, right? And I'm turning that back leg in. And then I want to try and keep that tail under on that side. And then I start to come forward. Just forward. And again, I'm feeling like I'm pressing my chest down, but almost resisting by pulling the knee up a little bit. But that's up to you. Or you could just relax here and breathe. Just start to notice, where do you feel it? You want to feel the outer, this hip, this whole butt area. Breathe. Our hips get really tight because we're always sitting and standing, and they need some love and attention. And then inhale, start to rise up. Now here, see if you can lift off the block. See, I'm not even using it. And then you could use your hand here and lift up to go back. And just feel that. Lift, lift. You might even be able to do 2 hands. Lift. And slowly coming down. I'll take the block out. And then bending the knees. Let's go to the 90-90. Look, no hands. But just do the best you can. If that was working for you, it's kind of fun to feel like how loose can you get in those hips. But we're all works in progress, so just do the best you can for your body. Let's go ahead and sit up tall in Dandasana. And now the hips are nice and open, so let's bend the knee and open out to Janu Sirsasana. So from here, let's just take a nice twist over that left leg and start to come forward. I like to really get a lot of length on the right side as I'm doing this. So if you needed to use a towel or a belt, make sure you're really pulling that right side with the left side. Or if you're grabbing a wrist, maybe you can, with your left hand, grab your right wrist and breathe. Inhale and exhale. So this way I'm feeling this whole right side. It goes from my hip all the way to the lats. Breathe. And then inhale, lengthen, and rise up. We'll go to the other side. So Dandasana, bend the knee, open out to the side. And from here, there's a little twist, but it's mostly lengthening over the leg. And if you're using your towel or a belt, pull that left side so you feel the whole left side. Or if you're grabbing a wrist with your right hand, grab the left wrist and really pull and breathe. Inhale and exhale. One more breath and exhale. Inhale, rise up, and coming back to Dandasana, we're going to make our way over to our knees now. So we'll cross and just come on up to your knees. You could use your blocks here for Anjaneyasana if you needed to. You probably don't need them, so I'm going to put them aside. But sometimes it helps to get the foot up there. So let's come into Anjaneyasana, but we'll do it from angel arms. So I like angel arms. I'm a big fan because they help get the shoulders down, and they're not just squishing together. So they're coming down, and there's a sense of widening, and your back engages. as you lift the sternum. Then we start to bend the front knee, but keep this left butt tucked under so you feel that stretch in the hip flexors. And now, when you're ready, reach. But keep that left butt tucked under, keep pulling the right butt back, and reach, and reach, and reach, and reach. And then inhale, rise up. And let's go to the other side. So if you needed to, I forgot to say, you could also put something under your knee, but just try to be a little forward of the kneecap and you should be fine. Inhale, lift the sternum. Keep tucking that right butt under, bend the knee. Angel arms, shoulders down. There's a bit of widening. Lift up, tail under, keep lifting up, keep lifting up, keep lifting up. And then inhale, rise up. And we'll come to the knees for a moment. So now we're gonna make our way over to the wall, where we're gonna use the wall to help us enhance the drop back back bend, which will truly take us to a place where we're thriving. So I'll meet you at the wall. So now we've made it to the wall. I'm using the stall bars, but it's just like a wall. So we're gonna do the drop back, which can be fairly scary for a lot of people, but there's so many benefits. It really strengthens the back body while really opening the front body. And we spend so much of our days going this way, that to go this way is really balancing. And you just take it to the level where it feels good in your body. So I have my feet pretty wide and I kind of naturally turn out a little. So I just have a little bit of that going on. Let's start with the hands in prayer position just for a moment and just stand. And then from here, we're gonna take the arms out to those angel arms. And as I engage the back muscles, so I'm pulling the shoulders down and there's a sense of widening, I'm feeling my back body engage and I can start to lift up. Then I start to feel not only the back, but the back of the legs and even the hips. They're starting to come a little forward and up, and I'm feeling engagement in all of it. So the back body is working, the front body is opening, and it's supported. And then see if you can go somewhere where you feel safe and it feels good, and maybe just touch and come back. And if you found you were really close to the wall, you could step away. But if you found that it was really hard to touch, you could stay where you were. So let's try that again. And inhale, feeling the shoulders go down and there's a sense of width, feeling the back body engage. I feel my back muscles. Now I start to feel my hips. The front of the hips are stretching, the back of the hips are working, and I go as far as I can. And then I just touch and come back. One more. I'm gonna move a little forward. Inhale here, finding those angel arms, lifting up, feeling the back body engage, engage, engage. And then I reach and I touch and I hold for a moment, hold for a moment, hold for a moment, and come up. And just do that to the level that is the most expressive for you and your body. And it should feel even and supported. We're gonna make our way back up to the front of the mat now, where we're gonna come down to the floor. So let's start with the feet hip width and come into just a gentle forward bend. So we'll start by articulating the spine and releasing the back bend. So now we're going forward after going backward. So it's okay to bend the knees a little, pull the belly in, and just start to drop, drop. You could even have your feet quite wide if that felt better. Just releasing some of that back bend. And then once you're down here, maybe grab the elbows, start to straighten your legs a little. You can even rock around a little, notice what's going on. And then from here, go ahead and let's just drop the hands and we'll make our way back to down dog. Just come into a nice lengthening. We'll come down to the knees. Let's come into a child's pose. So opening the knees, sending your butt back and reaching your arms forward. And just notice, can you release here? Breathe into your back body. Inhale and exhale. Melting into Adho Mukha Virasana. Inhale, starting to come up. We'll just come to seated. So we'll take the legs in front. We'll finish with a nice surrender to Paschimottanasana before we come all the way down to the floor. So take a breath in. You could bend your knees if you needed to and get the spine really lengthened. Some of you don't need to do that. You can find that, but really engage the back here as we fold into Paschimottanasana. Of course, you could always use your belt or your towel. You might need to do that a few times. Bend the knees, get the back lengthened, and then fold. But find yourself in a place of surrender and just be here. And breathe. And then inhale, lengthen. It's like the back bends are so energizing. They build all that energy up. And then the forward bends, you can just let go and release. Let's go ahead and make our way down. So we'll round the spine again, really stretching it out, but it's supported in the front and pulling the belly in and slowly making our way down. Let's go ahead and bend the knees. Let's come into one articulating bridge just to release the back a little more. Curl the pelvis, lift up. You feel the back of the legs engage. Reach your arms and then slowly curl the spine down. Just noticing release, coming all the way down, and then let the hands come down. If you wanted to, you could do this supported inversion. You could put the block under your butt. It's always nice to reverse blood flow in an inversion. And this one's nice, it's just supported. Make sure your ribs aren't poking out too much and you're not this way, just in the middle, the legs are engaged. You could even put your feet up the wall if you wanted to. Some people like to come into halasana and shoulder stand. That's just plow pose, right? But not if it's contraindicated. It's not a good idea for people with osteoporosis to put weight on the neck. So if that's the case, you just stay on the block. And you don't have to rush through this. You could pause the video, or we just meet here. And slowly coming down, let's lift the hips up, shift them to the left, coming into a twist. Take the arms out to the side, take the knees over. You can gently guide that left knee over, roll that left shoulder open, maybe take your gaze to the left, breathe, just release. Letting the legs come back. Let's go ahead, lift, shift, knees up and legs over. And you really want to turn these left ribs to the right as I roll that right shoulder open. Maybe taking your gaze to the right if that feels good, breathing. And then letting everything come back. Let's find a nice happy baby. You can hold on here, rock around a little bit. And then find your way into Shavasana and just let the physical body go and thrive in that light and just stay in that. And you can stay in Shavasana as long as you'd like, but I'm going to go ahead and take us out. So just become aware of your breath and start to move fingers and toes, but stay in that sense of thriving. And we're going to go ahead and bend the knees. And we'll come into a fetal position and pause. And then slowly make your way up to seated. And we'll just find ourselves in that Sukhasana, that happy seat where we started. And just notice the effects of the practice on your body and mind today. Are you feeling that sense of evolving, thriving? And let that resonate in everything you do. Namaste.